Colorado High School Activities Association Baseball is on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. This afternoon from Legion Field, it's game number 21 of the 2023 season as the visiting Niwot Cougars take on the Fort Morgan Mustangs. I'm John Beltran. These two teams just played on Saturday at Niwot. The Mustangs had a 3-2 lead going into the bottom of the fifth inning, but then disaster struck as Niwot scored 11 runs to win the game 13-3. The Mustangs' 11th consecutive loss. They're 1-14 in league play, 4-16 overall. Niwot 9-6 in the Longs Peak League, 11-7 on the season. Opening pitch today is brought to you by Buildings by Design. First impressions are important. Buildings by Design will make your vision a reality. Visit buildingsbydesign.com. Sergio Pimentel will lead off, hitting from the right side. Squaring to bunt, lays it down too hard out towards the pitcher. Charging Romero, low throw, and it skips by into foul territory. And Pimentel's going to be able to take at least two bases. He rounds second, headed for third. Diaz is getting to the baseball right now. And that'll be an error on the throw by Romero. Had to come in a few steps, but he had an easy play. And that's been the story for the Mustangs all season. They have been well below average. And I'm putting that kindly. 58 errors in 20 games going in. And now let's see if Diaz is hurt. Over at first base, he's favoring an arm or a shoulder. I don't know if he hurt an elbow, perhaps, as Pimentel ends up at third base on the opening pitch of the game. Coach Langford is out there along with the head trainer. See if Diaz is okay, but a horrendous start to this game for Fort Morgan. I mean, you look at previous years, the Mustangs committed between 1.5 and 2 errors per game. They're nearly at 3 this year. And they might have their first baseman out for the rest of the game. I don't know if there was a collision at first. I didn't see it. But as soon as the ball got by Diaz, he really didn't go after the baseball for a while. And I mean, for a while, a good probably 1 second, which is a long time. And that's why Pimentel easily got to third base off the throw that skipped in. And Trey Romero's got to help his own cause. That was a play he knows he should have made. Here is Brock Rothstein. We'll check out the numbers here on Niwot. Rothstein had a big 2-run double on Saturday. Lefty against lefty, and the breaking ball is there for a strike on the outside corner at the knees. Rothstein hitting .424, Niwot .351 as a team. The infield is playing back. We'll set up the defense momentarily in the rest of the Niwot starting lineup. The pitch in the dirt, blocked by Baker. Batting third is the catcher Hayden Shaw. The DH is Diego Castro. Julian Leto, the first baseman, hits fifth. Henry Noblin at third hits sixth. The seventh hitter is the second baseman Jaden Adler. Arlo Richards is eighth. Jagger Kilpatrick hits ninth. Swung on, grounded up the middle. A dive and a base hit into center field by Rothstein. Pimentel scores 1-0 Niwot. 3 pitches into the game. That'll bring up Hayden Shaw. .435 hitter. Shaw hit that ground ball towards Franco at second. Went underneath his glove, and it ended the game scoring 2 runs. And Mustangs were looking good. 3-2 lead and just committed too many errors. Runner going, swung on and fouled back. I'm not sure why Shaw swung at that one because that was an easy stolen base for Rothstein, and he knew it. No balls and 1 strike. Yeah, in a situation like that, well, I'm sure he thought he could put it in play. But, man, I mean, a tremendous jump. No balls and 1 strike. 1-0 Niwot. We played about 2 minutes of baseball. The offering, fastball is just outside. Count is even at 1-1. Just one more win. It'd be so nice for the Mustangs to pick up just one victory. They have not won since April 11th. Throw back to first, back in diving is Rothstein. Yeah, that's what really hurts. It's been so long. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-0 Niwot in their road blacks with the white pants. The Mustangs in their home blacks with the striping of the white pants. The lefty at the belt. And a step off. Romero trying to get the sign squared with Tyler Baker. 1-1. The pitch. Outside, took something off it. Not even close. 2-1. Don't want that big first inning. If not, Romero will be pitching from behind. He's been better of late, but don't want to regress on this start. The stretch and the throw back to first, and back in diving is Rothstein. 2 balls and 1 strike. Baker lays down the sign. Romero stretches. Long pause. The pitch swung on and popped up into shallow right field. And right there is Chase Redding to make the grab. Rothstein back to first, 1 down. As Hayden Shaw's retired. Boy, that changeup is a good pitch for Romero. Get the hitter out in front. Here's Diego Castro. Castro was 0 for 3 on Saturday. They neutralized him. The pitch. That's a strike on the outside corner. On that tailing off-speed pitch, it's 0-1. Rothstein with about a 2 to 3 step lead at first. The pause, the pitch. Swung on in line towards right field. Redding to his right is going to make the catch. There's a shot for a double play. The throw back to first and a hop, and that is a double play. Rothstein was well off the bag, and he's doubled up on the fly ball hit by Diego Castro. And that does it for Niwot in the top of the first inning. They score a run on a base hit. There was a Mustang error and nobody left. To the bottom of the first, Niwot 1. Fort Morgan is coming to bat on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Niwot scored a run in the top of the first inning. John Beltran back with you. Mustang starting lineup is brought to you by Equitable Savings and Loan. Borrow locally from people you know. Equitable has been providing personal bankers to help you through all the steps. Stop by one of 10 locations across the plain or visit equitable-savings.com. Batting first is the center fielder Charlie Langford. Tyler Baker, the catcher, at second. The number 3 hitter is the pitcher Trey Romero. Jason Diaz is the cleanup hitter. Chase Redding hits 5th. Third baseman Jaden Carrera bats 6th. Batting 7th is Alan Nevades. And check that, Langford is at short. Batting 8th is Angel Lopez in left, and Noah Aguirre, the center fielder, hits 9th. Defensively, Julian Leto's at first, Jaden Adler at second for Niwot. Henry Noblin is the third baseman. Brock Rothstein is the shortstop. Arlo Richards is in left. Jagger Kilpatrick in center. Jack Schrock in right. Hayden Shaw's behind the plate. And Sergio Pimentel is on the mound, a right-hander for Niwot. Pimentel, this season, no record, a 4.2 ERA. He's made 8 appearances. And here's Charlie Langford, having a terrific offensive season. That's the key. He's got to pick up his defense once we get to his senior year, hitting .404. He's been great at the plate. The pitch and the breaking ball's a strike on the inside corner. The entire team's got to get better defensively, those who are not graduating. I mean, that's how the run scored in the first inning. A big throwing error by the pitcher Romero. The offering. And that curveball went behind him to the backstop. 1 ball and 1 strike. I mean, you're going to have your first losing season since 2009. But you pick up a victory here to close it out. That would really change things, at least going into next year. One of the last 3 games. Swung on and grounded sharply to short. Rothstein has got it. He slings it high to first in time. Langford is out number 1. It doesn't hurt when your first baseman, Julian Leto, is about 6'5". Here is Tyler Baker. Gotten on base lately, trying to get over the 200 mark average-wise. Baker's at 171. He has drawn quite a few walks. His OBP's not too bad. Here's the wind and pitch. Swing and a miss and a breaking ball. He was fooled badly on that one. No balls and 1 strike. Took one of those 3-quarter swings where you don't see it until the ball breaks about 3 feet in front of you. And the offering. Curveball is right there for a strike on the inner half. It's 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes and the Mustang catcher. 1-0 Niwot, bottom 1. Getting the sign is Pimentel, and the pitch. Fastball is off the glove of Shaw. Ball 1, strike 2. Off of I-76 and exit 66A in Wiggins. Stubbs Gas and Oil. Gas, food, and all your travel accessories. Stubbs Gas and Oil. The pitch. Swung on and grounded left side. And a routine play, a 3-hopper for the third baseman, Henry Noblin, who throws out Baker 2 down. Trey Romero, batting .321, will hit from the left side. Well, the Mustangs at least have put it in play on the ground. That's one thing you want to do, force them to make 2 plays, the field and the throw. The pitch, and that's down and in with a fastball. A ball and no strikes to Trey Romero. Mustangs will be at Thompson Valley on Thursday, weather permitting, and Brian Nickel will be with you on Saturday to close out the regular season here against Thompson Valley. Swung on line towards left center field. It'll drop for a base hit right in front of Arlo Richards, and both teams have a base hit in the first inning as Trey Romero extends the inning for Jason Diaz. Diaz has really put together, like Romero, a very steady offensive season. Not up there with Charlie Langford, but heck, he's hitting .315. The stretch, throw back to first, back and diving is Romero. Yeah, you can tell this right-hander, Pimentel, is going to pitch to contact. Doesn't have an overpowering fastball at all. The stretch, the offering, fastball is down and away. 1 ball and no strikes. .74 degrees at first pitch in Fort Morgan. 2-step lead at first for Romero. And the 1-0. Down and away with a fastball. 2 balls and no strikes. Our first pitch today came at 3:56. They don't start on time here. They start early. 2-0. And the offering. It skips all the way to the screen. On the wild pitch, Romero to second. Gail Winsheimer has been with the school district a long time throughout the first pitch, the ceremonial first pitch. Three balls and no strikes to Jason Diaz. Romero off of second. At the belt. Pimentel to the plate, and that's a fastball for a strike. On the outer half at the knees, it's 3-1. Redding is on deck. The pitch swung on and lifted towards center field and going back, still going back and misjudging it completely is Kilpatrick. Romero will score. Diaz headed for second, the throw, the slide, and he's going to be in there. That's going to be a 2-out RBI double on a ball that was completely misplayed by Kilpatrick. He didn't move until it was flying over his head, and we're deadlocked at 1 in the bottom of the first inning. It scored a double, but should have been a rather routine play out there. Had no idea that the ball was going to travel that far. Here is Chase Redding. Redding hitting .214. The pitch, breaking ball is down and away. Yeah, with the way the ball was hit, you could tell it was going to travel a bit, but Kilpatrick, I don't know if that's his normal position. Looks like he's never played out there. I mean, he just didn't move. And the 1-0 in the dirt with a breaking ball, 2 balls and no strikes. So the Mustangs have 2 hits in the inning, both with 2 down. Off of second is Diaz. At the belt is Pimentel. Looking back, 2-0. And that one is off the catcher's glove. That'll be a wild pitch, sending the runner Diaz to third. This is Pimentel's 9th appearance. So he's had plenty of mound time, but he's already thrown 2 wild pitches in the bottom of the first inning. 3 balls and no strikes to Chase Redding. And the pitch. And that one bounces away up the first base side. Diaz will score easily. And in fact, Redding could go to second. Nope, but now he spots the baseball, so it's just going to be a walk. Nice job of Redding taking off for first, because that is a live ball. 3rd wild pitch of the inning. And the Mustangs lead 2-1. And when I say wild pitch, I mean wild pitch. They are bouncing in at about 50 feet, and there's nothing really the catcher can do. He's getting a shin guard on it, sometimes a glove. But, man, those are missing badly. Here's the freshman, Jaden Carrera. The pitch, way outside with a fastball. 1 ball and no strikes. Carrera batting .179. He sticks with it. He'll be a 4-year starter. 2-step lead. The offering. Swing and a miss. Throw back to first. That was a freshman mistake. Getting back is Redding. I mean, Carrera just saw this pitcher throw 5 balls in a row, and he swung at a pitch that was neck high, and now it's 1-1. Hey, make sure he throws it in the strike zone. The offering, and that's down and away. That would have been 7 balls in a row. 2 balls and 1 strike. Yeah, it's got to be a fat meatball right down the middle. If not, Carrera should be taking. From this right-hander, Sergio Pimentel. Redding stretches out the lead. Pimentel to the plate, and that is a strike on the outer half at the knees. Took something off it. It's 2-2. That's still a good take. That was a pitcher strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 2 across for the Mustangs. They lead by a run in the bottom of the first inning. Runner goes. Breaking ball fouled back. Nice job by Carrera keeping his hands back. Tried to sneak in a breaking ball. It remains at 2-2. A quick game would be nice as well. Nice, quick, moving game. You need pitching and defense for that to happen. Romero got out of a little jam, although he did commit an error. The pitch in the dirt with a bender. 3-2. Reading will be taking off from first. The rally started with 2 down and nobody on. Romero with a base hit, then an innocent fly ball by Diaz was completely misjudged in center. Romero scored. It was scored a double. 3-2. And there goes the runner foul back. And Reading really was not running hard on that one. He's got to know. This is 3-2 with 2 outs. He's got to be taking off. He really was not taking off. Yeah, you're automatically going. I mean, a base hit in the outfield should get him to third easily. 3-2 again. Carrera waits. There goes the runner. Swung on and lifted towards right center field. Long run for Kilpatrick. He's not going to get there. It's going to drop for a base hit. Reading to third. The slide, he's in there easily. Well, that's why that 3-2 with a runner going really helps with 2 down. And runners at the corners now for Alan Nevades, the DH. Great piece of hitting by Jaden Carrera. Nevades has not had a lot of at-bats. Only 5, but he's hitting 133. Actually, 3 at-bats, 5 plate appearances, so he's been on base 3 times. A chance to add to the lead in the bottom of the first inning. Pimentel to the plate. Fouled. Behind the backstop, it's 0-1. Brush is playing Yuma right now, and Brush on 1010 KSIR. No balls, 1 strike. 2 out, 2 on, 2 in. Laying down the sign is Shaw. Nevades awaits the pitch. That's a strike on the outside corner with a fastball. It's 0-2. Pimentel's thrown nearly 30 pitches in his first inning. Off of third is Reading. Carrera at first. Behind in the count is Nevades at 0-2. The offering foul to the backstop. Went with a slow curveball. Well, Carrera adjusted. Nevades adjusted on that pitch. Still down at 0-2. Again, Shaw puts down the sign. The pause. The pitch. Fouled straight back. Went with another slow curve. Well, this will not be a quick game. First inning already 22 minutes old. Going to have to pick up the pace with 6 more innings to go. It'll stay at 0-2 to Alan Nevades. At the belt. Pimentel, the right-hander, to the plate. And that one skips to the screen. Here comes Reading from third. There could be a play to slide. He's in there. Sliding in head first is Chase Reading. Another wild pitch in the inning. And to second is the trail runner. And it's 3-1 Fort Morgan. In scoring position now is Carrera. That's at least 3 wild pitches in the inning. And the count is at 1-2. The offering. And that one is off the glove. That's going to be a pass ball sending Carrera to third. That one should have been caught in flight. Yeah, disastrous inning between pitcher and catcher. Pimentel with 4 wild pitches. And again, that was a pass ball. Well, let's see if we scored that correctly. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the offering. And that one skips in. Blocked that time by Shaw. Count is at 3-2. On deck is Angel Lopez. The Mustangs have led in every league road game this year. At home, they've only led for half an inning against Skyline. And that's it. Now they lead 3-1 in the bottom of the first inning, still batting. The pitch. And that one skips and blocked there. Actually backhanded on a hop by the catcher. And it's a walk. We're going to have a visit, you would think. And here comes a visit to the mound. Pimentel is lost out there. He's thrown 34 pitches. 17 for strikes, 17 for balls. He's given up 3 hits and issued 2 walks. Now, granted, there was that fly ball hit by Diaz that I thought should have ended the inning, but Kilpatrick misjudged it so badly in center, it sailed over his head, scored a double, and the Mustangs capitalized on that with another base hit. Angel Lopez, with a 200 average, will now step in. Yeah, just trying to change the pace and rhythm of this pitcher, Sergio Pimentel. As the visit from head coach Ken Rosales is complete. Let's keep it going. First and third with 2 down. The Mustangs lead by 2. Carrera hopes he can score on a wild pitch. We've had 4 of them already. The offering. And that one's going to skip all the way to the backstop. Here comes a speedy Carrera. Throw to the plate. He's in there, sliding feet first. To second is Nevades, and the Mustangs lead 4-1. I don't know how you keep him in there. I have no idea how you keep Pimentel on the mound. And I do not see activity in the bullpen. And Niwot's going to be a playoff team, and they're still in this game, obviously. We're only in the first inning. But Fort Morgan doesn't have to do anything but run when there's a wild pitch. 5 in the inning, and it's 1-0. They do have 3 hits. Righty against righty. The pitch swung on, popped up, foul territory, right side, and running out of room is Julian Leto. It's 1-1. Pimentel has really scuffled in this first inning. And the strange thing is that there was 2 down with nobody on. So it's really after the second hitter. Just can't get that third out. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pitch to Lopez. Swing and a miss. Took something off it. Lopez missed it. It's 1-2. Nevada's off of second. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Angel Lopez. Slightly open stance. The offering. Fouled back. That pitch was up in the zone. Who is Coach Rosales going to go with after Pimentel? Because this will be his 39th pitch of the first inning. We'll do it again at 1-2. The stretch and the offering. Swung on and grounded to third on a routine hop by Noblin. The throw to first is low, but dug out by Julian Leto. And Niwot finally gets out of the inning. For the Mustangs, 4 runs on 3 hits, no errors and 1 left. To the second we go. Fort Morgan 4, Niwot 1 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Let's head to the top of the second inning. Fort Morgan with a 4-1 lead. At home over the Niwot Cougars. Now this is Trey Romero's game. He threw well in the first inning, but committed a crucial error that led to the only run for Niwot. Julian Leto was 0 for 3 on Saturday. The breaking ball's a strike on the outside corner. Lefty against lefty, and the pitch swung on line, base hit into center field on a hanging breaking ball. And that's the second hit of the game for Niwot. That'll bring up Henry Noblin. Noblin was 0 for 1, but was hit by a pitch and was also issued a walk in the 13-3 victory by Niwot 3 days ago. The pitch, changeup, is a strike, letter high, it's 0-1. to the right-handed hitting third baseman Henry Noblin. He was the winning pitcher on Saturday. Throw back to first, and back in standing is Leto. The Mustangs took advantage of 5 wild pitches. They did generate 3 hits in the bottom of the first inning and lead 4-1. Snap throw to first. Back in standing is Leto. And keep the errors at a minimum. It's been an issue all season if you're Fort Morgan. The pitch in the dirt, blocked by Baker. The count is level at 1-1. Again, 2 more games remaining after today. Mustangs will play Thompson Valley and Loveland on Thursday and then close out the regular season Saturday at home. The pitch swung on line. That's a base hit into left field. To second is Leto, and Noblin has Niwot's 3rd hit of the game. Jaden Adler hitting .050. Well, you got to get this guy. .050. Let's see. Adler was, well, believe it or not, they didn't pitch to him very successfully. He had a sacrifice and a couple of walks, squaring to bunt, and the breaking ball, he waved at it and missed it. No balls and 1 strike. Yeah, that's what normally would happen. First and second, nobody out early in the game. You've got an .050 hitter. Arlo Richards is on deck. Pretty decent hitter. Just try to sacrifice the runners over. But Adler not able to do it yet. No balls and 1 strike. Throw back to second and right into the runner as the ball is deflected off the runner with the shortstop Langford covering. Again, a low percentage play. I don't think they picked off a runner all season at second. They have from the catcher's position. No balls and 1 strike. The pitch fouled. Went with another changeup. It's 0-2 to Jaden Adler. Yeah, you can still go changeup here. Get him out in front. A pop-up or a strikeout. Romero looks back. 0-2 pitch. Here it is. Swing and a miss. Pulled a fastball right by him. Adler goes down. There's 1 down. And here's Arlo Richards. He was 0 for 1, but scored twice. There was an issue with base on balls. On Saturday, Richards hitting .227, the number 8 hitter in the lineup. The pitch, breaking ball is a beauty on the outer half for a strike. Thigh high, it's 0-1. Fort Morgan with a 4-1 lead over Niwot. Top of the second inning, looking to snap an 11-game losing streak. The pitch, swag and a miss on a nasty curveball. It's 0-2. The 9-hitter Jagger Kilpatrick, not an easy one to retire. He hits next. Romero, 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Another fastball down the middle. Strikes out Richards, 2 down. Trey Romero's done a nice job on these last couple of hitters. Kilpatrick hitting .510. This guy is a terror. Nope, check that. That's another one. This is, let's see. There's 2 Kilpatricks. Breaking ball's a strike. Hitting .364, though. Still a very good hitter. No balls and 1 strike. The offering. Fastball tails away. Count is level at 1-1. At second is Leto. Noblin at first. Romero stretches. 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball is outside throw to third. The tag. And I think he got around it, or did he get him? He got him. Oh, I thought Leto got around the tag. He even put his arms up in protest, but he's called out. Tagged out by Carrera. And that caught stealing will go 2-5. And the inning is over. For Niwot, no runs on 1 hit. No runs on 2 hits, no errors and a man left. Bottom of the second we go. Fort Morgan 4, Niwot 1 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Fort Morgan 4, Niwot 1 to the bottom of the second inning. Trey Romero, after giving up base hits to begin the second, struck out the next 2 hitters, and Tyler Baker threw out Leto trying to steal third. And it's 9-1-2. Noah Aguirre, Charlie Langford, and Tyler Baker against right-hander Sergio Pimentel. The pitch swung on and lined into right field for a base hit. The 4th hit in the early going for the Mustangs is Noah Aguirre, who picks up the base hit. Noah was batting just 170 going in. Charlie Langford grounded to short in the bottom of the first inning. Charlie does have a home run this year. And if he waits on that breaking ball, who knows? The stretch and throw back to first, and back in diving is Aguirre. Could this be the Mustangs' day? Pimentel, the right-hander, looks in. The stretch and the offering. Squaring to bunt up the third base side. It's going to be fielded. The throw to first is going to be late. It'll be a base hit for Charlie Langford. Henry Noblin did everything possible, but Langford beats it out. And the Mustangs have begun the bottom of the second inning with base hits from Aguirre and Langford. And a gorgeous bunt. And watch out, Tyler Baker could do the same. And let's see. Coach Rosales is out there with a field umpire. I'm not sure what's being discussed. And now the umpires will converge up the first base side. I have no idea what's going on there. I didn't see. He wanted an appeal at first. Are you kidding me? I mean, he was safe by a mile. Wow. I mean, it wasn't that close. Baker grounded to third. And I suspect he's going to do the same thing. The third baseman, Noblin, is playing even with the grass. I would bunt if I were Baker. Let's see what happens. The stretch. The offering squaring to bunt, and he missed it. Might have gotten a piece of it. It's 0-1. And that's a pitch you got to bunt into fair territory. That was right there. Now they'll be anticipating that. No balls and 1 strike. You can bunt it up the third base side. Would be ideal. Baker awaits. Squaring to bunt again. And he takes that pitch for a strike on the breaking ball in the inner half. It's 0-2. Might have to swing away now. No balls and 2 strikes. To the Mustang catcher, nobody out. 2 on, 4-1 Fort Morgan, bottom of the second inning. Trying to split the season series with Niwot. Shaw lays down the sign. Pimentel stretches. Baker awaits. The pitch going to bunt again, and he pops it up third base side. That's foul, and he's out. Well foul. So that's recorded as a strikeout. Here is Trey Romero, who singled and scored in the 4-run first. And the next 2 hitters, Romero and Diaz, hitting over 300 this season, and both came up with base hits an inning ago. Let's see if Romero gets something fat. Doesn't have a homer this year, but he certainly has enough power. The pitch swung on and grounded on the right side, fielded by the pitcher Pimentel. Throw to second for 1. Back to first is late. To third is Aguirre. 2 down. Fielder's choice goes 1-6. Jason Diaz hit a fly ball to the center fielder Kilpatrick, who froze, then realized that was going to fly over his head. It scored Romero, and it was scored a double Even though if he got a good beat on it, it would have been an out, and it would have been a scoreless first inning instead of the Mustangs tallying 4. Short lead at third, short lead at first, 2 down, the stretch. The offering, swung on and chopped to short. Rostein has got it, sets, throws to first, and the Mustangs are retired in the bottom of the second inning as Diaz is out number 3. No runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left. To the third we go. Fort Morgan 4, Niwot 1 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. The Mustangs lead the Niwot Cougars 4-1. Let's move to the third inning. 9-1-2. Jagger Kilpatrick was the hitter when Julian Leto was caught stealing to end the second. The pitch swung on, lined on one hop. Nice play to his left by Langford. Throw to first is in time. That's an all-star play on a short hop as he dove to his left, and there's 1 down. That is the defensive play of the season on a hot shot. Hit to the shortstop Langford. That's a special play. Holy Mahungus, what a play. And here's Sergio Pimentel. I mean, there are major leaguers who struggle to come up with that one, and Langford made an incredible play. And that one is upstairs. Pimentel reached on the air by Romero, and then he scored. Here's the one and the pitch. Swung on, check swing, second base side. Charging is Layden. Then he underhands and he overthrows the first baseman, Diaz. It'll be a base hit, though. That's a base hit. Yeah, you can't score that in air. It was a check swing, and charging was Layden. Tried to underhand it. Didn't have much of a play. So it's a base hit. And here's Brock Rostein, who had a base hit his first time up. Niwot with 4 hits, the Mustangs with 5. Yeah, that ball was hit slowly enough that Layden really had to charge it to his left and come in on the ball. Well, that's what charging is, the stretch. The offering. Curveball is a ball. Runner goes to second to throws on a hop, and it's a stolen base for Pimentel. Good pitch to steal on. 1 ball and no strikes. Well, that's too bad that ball by Pimentel was not hit harder. Would have been an easy play for Layden. And really, the only shot he had was to glove it and then shovel it with his glove. And even then, no way you throw out Pimentel. Unless he would have tripped over himself. The pitch swung on, laced into the right center field gap. That's going to drop for a base hit. Stepping on third is Pimentel. They'll send him home, and he will score on the RBI single from Brock Rostein. Fort Morgan's lead is down to 2. It's 4-2. And Hayden Shaw will now hit. That curveball had early life, and when it has early life, you see it out of the hand. And it's on a tee for you. That's why the play by Langford to begin this third inning is huge. If he doesn't make that play, it could be a big inning for Niwot. But now you have 1 on and 1 out. Romero at the belt. Snap throw to first, back in diving is Rostein. And in baseball, it evens out. You hit a line shot on 1 hop, you get a great defensive play, then a check swing results in a base hit. Romero delivers, and that is blocked by Baker on a pitch down and away. That's a heck of a block. 1 ball and no strikes. Yeah, just concentrate on the hitter. You've got a 4-2 lead in the third. Now he starts fooling around with that base runner. I mean, Trey does not have a quick move to the plate. And that's just the reality. The pitch swung on and grounded towards left field. A dive by Langford. He's got the ball, but no play. It's a base hit. A base hit for Hayden Shaw on the off-speed pitch. Diego Castro lined to right, and it ended up being a double play when the base runner Rostein was nearly at second base. And Niwot's already threatening to take the lead. The stretch and the offering. Curveball is a beauty on the outer half thigh high. It's 0-1 to Diego Castro. Fort Morgan leads 4-2 in the visiting half of the third inning. Romero stretches. The pitch. That's a fastball for a strike. Outer half thigh high. It's 0-2. Romero's only thrown 32 pitches, so he hasn't tossed too many. Looking back, and the pitch. Swung on line foul with the runners going. One with a fastball there. It remains at 0-2. Good looking pitch there by Trey Romero. And he's all over the strike zone. 24 strikes and only 9 balls so far. No balls and 2 strikes. Wants Baker to run through the signs again. Runners take their leads. The pitch blocked on a pitch in the dirt. 1-2. Niwot's been making some pretty good contact. 6 hits to Fort Morgan's 5. It'll be a 1-2 throw back to first and a tag, and that's going to be late. Hayden Shaw back to first. Nice job of Romero and Diaz communicating on that pickoff to the trail runner. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Castro. The pitch. Breaking ball is way outside. Count levels at 2-2. Nice hard hit ball for a double play would certainly help. At second is Rostein. Shaw at first. Romero to the plate. Upstairs. Castro thought about it. Laid the bat back. It's 3-2. Runners could be going with only 1 out. And Leto, a left-handed hitter, is on deck. And the 3-2 pitch. And that's taken. Nope. That's a ball. Baker dropped it, but that looked like a pretty good pitch. Called a ball. I guess it was low. I don't think it helped that the catcher dropped it, but it's a walk. Huh. That must have just been a little bit low. Very close. Leto singled in his first plate appearance. I thought Romero thought he might have had strike 3. The pitch. Fouled back on the breaking ball. It's 0-1. Here's where the defense needs to step up along with your pitcher. No balls, 1 strike. The base is loaded. 1 out. The pitch. Swung on and popped foul and out of play off to the left. 0-2 to Julian Leto. Can he come up with a strikeout? This is a tough kid to strike out. 0-2 pitch. And check swing. It's off of Baker's glove. He can't find it. Runner breaks for the plate. And he slides in the tag and safe. Baker did not get him. Romero was inching to cover the plate. And Baker dove towards the base runner, Rostein. And he did not get him in time. Rostein got in head first, and it's 4-3. That'll be a passed ball. I think Baker might have had a change of glove because it popped in and out of his glove and only got about 2 feet behind him. Aggressive base running by Rostein. 1-2 to Leto. The pitch. Breaking ball is up and away. 2-2. Shaw at third. Castro at second. The Mustangs had a 4-1 lead. It's down to 4-3. The offering. And that is a called strike 3 on the outside corner. And I think he got an extra half an inch there. 2 down. Leto was surprised, and he's not the only one who was. Henry Noblin singled his first time up. It was close, but it appeared to be off the zone. Outside the zone. The pitch. Breaking ball is high. A ball and no strikes. We've not really had a clean inning yet. Only had 1 error committed in the game. That was by Fort Morgan. The offering. Popped up into right center field. Chase Redding coming in to his right. Makes the grab. Side retired in the third inning. for Niwot. 2 runs on 3 hits, no errors and 2 left. 2.5 are in the books. It's Fort Morgan 4, Niwot 3 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. The Mustangs lead the Niwot Cougars 4-3 as we head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. I'm John Beltran, live from Legion Field. Chase Redding will lead off. Whether you're a traditional or non-traditional student looking for an associate's degree or a specialized certificate, visit njc.edu, that's Northeastern. Have 2 outstanding community colleges sponsoring Morgan County Athletics, Morgan Community College, Northeastern Junior College, now known as Northeastern. Redding walked and scored in the first, a 4-run first for the Mustangs. Wind by the right-hander, the pitch, and it bounces in. That was the case in the first inning. A lot of pitches that just kept doing that. 1 ball and no strikes. And the pitch, and the bender's down and in, 2-0. Pimentel scuffled in the first, was much better in the second. Mustangs would like him to revert to the pitcher he was in the first inning, when 3 wild pitches scored 3 of the 4 runs. And the 2-0 over for a strike at the knees. 5, 6, and 7 for Fort Morgan in the home half of the 3rd. 2-1 to Chase Redding. Pimentel kicks and fires, bounces to the plate. 3 balls and 1 strike. And Niwot is headed to the playoffs, undoubtedly. Brush is leading at home against Yuma 15-0 in the 4th inning. The pitch up and away. It's a walk. So Redding reaches. I don't know how much longer Pimentel's going to last. 3 walks issued. 5 wild pitches all in the first inning. Jaden Carrera had a base hit, especially if Fort Morgan can score in this frame. Redding off of first, a 2-step advantage. The pitch squaring to bunt, and he lays it down foul to the backstop. That pitch was up in the zone. No balls and 1 strike. Yeah, Carrera does have a lot of speed. And now Noblin, the 3rd baseman, is playing on the edge of the grass. Leto at first, obviously just on the bag, with a base runner Redding a few feet away. Squaring to bunt again, and he lays it down foul, 3rd base side. The Mustangs have not executed the bunt very well, except the one that was laid down by Langford. Baker struck out, attempted to bunt 3 times, and now Carrera is unsuccessful with 2 bunt attempts. No balls and 2 strikes. 4-3, Fort Morgan, bottom 3. Game number 21. Again, Redding, a conservative lead at first. The pitch, outside with a fastball. Nice crowd has settled in, not only here, but beyond, especially the right field fence. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jaden Carrera, the stretch. Sergio Pimentel to the plate, runner going. Swung on, grounded towards right center field. A dive and a... Did he stop it? He got it with his glove, maybe a little bit. Rounding second, going to third is Redding on the dive there by Adler. And the Mustangs have runners at the corners with nobody down. And Jaden Carrera beautifully executed the hit and run. And the Mustangs now in this 3rd inning have 6 total hits, matching Niwot's total. Here's Alan Nevades. Well, on a gorgeous day like this could be Fort Morgan's day. You've gotten out of a couple of jams, and now Pimentel is in trouble again. You got a lot of speed on the back end at first. Nevada's awaits the pitch. And that one skips all the way to the backstop. Here comes Redding, and Redding dives it head first. He scores. The wild pitch is the sixth thrown by Pimentel. The second is Carrera. The Mustangs lead 5-3. Yeah, I don't know. They're keeping him out there with 6 wild pitches. And that could be a scheduling thing, too, when you have games coming up this week. But I don't believe Niwot's schedule is any different than Fort Morgan. Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday deal the pitch. And that one skips all the way to the backstop. Carrera to third. 7 wild pitches thrown by Pimentel. He's going to set some sort of record. Through 2+ innings, there's still nobody out. Yeah, he has reverted back to what happened in the first inning when he threw 5 wild pitches. 2 balls and no strikes. The infield is playing halfway. Nevada's is up in the count, out of the stretch with a man at third. The offering swung on and popped up in the infield. The second baseman Adler to his left. The wind is swirling and he makes the catch near the first baseman Leto. 1 down. Yeah, he had to do a little dance out there to make sure that he would make that play, a little sidestepping. Angel Lopez grounded to third in his first plate appearance. With that speed over there, let's see what Coach Langford decides to do. And now the home plate umpire will have a conversation with Josh Langford up the third base side. It appears to be dugout related. Yeah, he's saying something to his team. So it has to be dugout related. Don't know exactly what it is, but either way, you could see something. Oh, is it a bat? Let's see. They're looking in at a bat, hopefully. That still abides by the regulations. Now a conversation with the Niwot head coach, Kendall Salas, from the home plate umpire. Nonetheless, 5-3, bottom of the third inning. The Mustangs tallied 4 runs in the first inning. 5 runs on 6 hits for Fort Morgan. They've committed an error and left 3 on base. 3 runs, 6 hits, no errors for Niwot. They've stranded 3. Yeah, Lopez is good enough, certainly, and Carrera fast enough. You could even lay down a safety squeeze. That would work, especially with the infield in, but not that far in. The pitch, and that one's going to skip off the glove. Here comes Carrera, another wild pitch. He slides in feet first, and the Mustangs lead 6-3. Unreal. Unreal. Pimentel is being left out there to roast, essentially. Not because of the sun. He just can't get a lot of these pitches to the plate. That one almost got there. 1 ball and no strikes. And the offering. Fouled behind the plate. The count is level at 1-1. I think the Mustangs have 1 RBI in this game, and that's it. The double hit by Jason Diaz. That's it. 1 RBI. They've got 6 runs. The other 5 runs have scored on wild pitches. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 2 across. The offering. Breaking ball fouled off the end of the bat to the backstop. 1-2. And we've had 1 incredible defensive play by Charlie Langford in the top of the third. And going back to that's going to be a key play in this game. He doesn't make that play. That could have been a significant rally for Niwot instead of just the 2 runs. The offering. Curveball is grounded down the third base side. Backhanded by Noblin, but he's not going to have a play at all. Lopez has a base hit. Noblin on that 2-hopper. Impressive just to come up with that cleanly, but had no throw behind the bag. And the Mustangs have 7 hits in the game. So Lopez is now 1 for 2. Well, the thing with this Niwot lineup, they are potent enough that no deficit is too big. Noah Aguirre had a base hit. The pitch, fastball's a strike on the outside corner. It's 0-1. Fort Morgan leads Niwot in the bottom of the third inning, 6-3. We played over an hour, not even halfway through yet. Could be a long afternoon in Fort Morgan. The pitch, runner goes, fouled straight back with a curveball. Lopez had a good jump, but he's back to first base at 0-2. Well, at least you have cleared, unless a double play's hit into. You've cleared the 9-hitter, and you'll get Langford up there for his third plate appearance in as many innings. The pitch, swung on and lifted towards left center field. That ball's got some carry. Kilpatrick to his right will make the running catch. Back to first is Lopez, 2 down. And that's what most outfielders feel more comfortable with, the ball hit to their left or right as opposed to directly right at them. Charlie Langford is grounded out and then laid down a beautiful bunt. If he can get one through the teeth of the wind, his home run this year came at Mountain View in right center. Throw back to first, and back in diving is Lopez. Yeah, I don't know if we've seen, maybe back to the Elizabeth game with the Mustangs when they scored 15 runs. Your leadoff hitter having 3 at-bats in as many innings, very rare this season. The pitch swung on and lifted towards right center field, but that ball's going to hang it. Now it's moving off to the left, and it's caught. A little twirl there by the right fielder, Jack Schrock, but he makes the catch. The Mustangs are limited to 2 runs, but they get the runs back that they relinquished in the top half of the inning. 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and a base runner left. 3 complete. Fort Morgan looking to snap an 11-game losing streak. Leads Niwot 6-3 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Fort Morgan leads Niwot headed to the 4th inning. It's 6-3. This is KPRB Brush Fort Morgan, Morgan County's B106. I'm John Beltran. Mustangs have 1 win at home this year. That came back, I believe, March the 11th when they defeated Brush 6-5. Jed Kilpatrick, hitting over 500, will lead off in the 7th hole in Jaden Adler's spot. You're replacing an 050 hitter with a 510 hitter. The pitch, and that breaking ball bounces in. Trey Romero threw 44 pitches over the first 3 innings. That's good. Want to keep that total low. The offering upstairs with a fastball is 2-0. 7, 8, and 9. That's another reason you got to make this a quick inning. Bottom of the order is coming up. Romero to the plate. Breaking ball is chopped right back to Romero. Nice leap, and he tosses to first for the out. Barely got off the ground, but made the play. And that brings up Arlo Richards. He struck out swinging. That was a key sequence early in the game when Niwot had 2 on, nobody out. A strikeout, and a throw 'em out. A caught stealing at third. The pitch. Oh, looked pretty good from here. Must have been a little bit high with a fastball. It's 1-0. Trey Romero delivers. Popped up, foul territory, right side. Baker along the first base side, and it's over the dugout. 1 ball and 1 strike. That's when the changeup is working. You think you're going to hit a ball 400 feet. You see a meatball, and it's just slowing down as it gets to the bat, and you swing under it. Good changeups are popped up. 1 ball and 1 strike. Romero delivers. Curveball is popped up, foul territory, and out of play, off to the left. 1-2. Again, just 1 more win. I know the win total is going to be thin this year, but if you can get it right now. Breaking ball is up and away. Good pitch, but it missed. It's 2-2. 1 down, the base is empty in the top of the 4th inning. Fort Morgan leads Niwot 6-3. Romero to the plate. Curveball is tapped foul. Off to the right side, remains at 2-2. We started the inning with Jed Kilpatrick, Jagger Kilpatrick. Waits to hit next. First things first, 2 balls, 2 strikes to Arlo Richards. And the pitch. That is just inside. Oh, man, that barely missed. Threw him another changeup. It's 3-2. I mean, missed by a whisker. Payoff pitch. Curveball is chopped left side. Third baseman Carrera charges, sets, throws to first, and Richards is out, number 2. You pitch, they hit, you field, and you get them out. Simple game, but not that simple. Kilpatrick hit that screamer that Langford fielded and made an incredible play to his left. The pitch. Curveball is popped down the right side, and along the line, Chase Redding, a long run, foul territory, is going to make the running catch, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Trey Romero and the Mustangs. Let's head to the bottom of the 4th. Fort Morgan leads Niwot 6-3 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Well, as you can imagine, there's some changes out there for Niwot. Sergio Pimentel is off the mound. The new pitcher is Brock Rostein from his shortstop position. Jed Kilpatrick, who did not start the game, goes to short. Fort Morgan leads in the bottom of the 4th inning, 6-3. Looking for their first victory since April 11th, when they won at Frederick 8-4. 2, 3, and 4 for the Mustangs in the bottom of the 4th inning. Tyler Baker, Trey Romero, and Jason Diaz. Baker grounded out, then struck out when he tried to bunt his way on an 0-2 pitch. The right-hander to the plate. Fastball is upstairs from Brock Rostein. This will be his 9th appearance. 4-2 with a 4.73 earned run average. And the pitch. That one bounces to the backstop. 2-0. The book on Pimentel was not pretty. 3 innings, 66 pitches. Allowed 6 runs, all earned. 3 walks outside. And 8 wild pitches. 8. 3 balls and no strikes to Baker. The right-handed hitting catcher. He'll be taking here. Right down the middle for a strike. It's 3-1. To Tyler Baker. Well, he might take again if it's not a hitter's pitch. The offering. Swung on and driven in the air to left field, and taking 2 steps back and making the catch is Richards, 1 down. Here's Trey Romero, singled and grounded into a fielder's choice. 1 for 2. Mustangs are out hitting Niwot 7-6 and lead 6-3. Shaw lays down the sign, the pitch. Fastball rides inside. A ball and no strikes. Be nice for Trey to get through 7 innings and pick up the victory. He's got plenty of pitches remaining. But he would like to get back on the mound with more than a 3-run lead. Kicking the 1-0. Breaking ball is down and in. 2 balls and no strikes. From Brock Rothstein is the way they pronounce it at Niwot, so we'll keep it at that. And even he has struggled despite retiring the first hitter. He's only thrown 2 strikes out of 7 pitches. 2-0. Swung on and grounded to second. To his right is Adler. Takes a little bit of a tricky hop. Throws on the run for the out. 2 down. Jason Diaz has doubled and grounded to short. He's 1 for 2. Now the pace of this game is picking up quite a bit. That's really what happens when you throw strikes. Amazing that Fort Morgan has 1 RBI in this game. It came from Diaz. A 2-out double in the bottom of the first inning. And the right-hander delivers. Fastball is right there for a strike, knee high. It's 0-1. Diaz came into the day hitting .315. Big open stance, right-handed hitter, a junior. And the offering. Curveball is lined for a base hit into center field, and the Mustangs have 2 from Diaz and 8 as a team. You hang it. Diaz bangs it, and he banged it right up the middle. Chase Redding has walked twice. Well, keep in mind that Fort Morgan scored their 4 runs in the first with 2 down and nobody on. It was the base hit from Trey Romero, the double by Diaz, and then throw back to first. He's back in diving. Mustangs only had 1 more hit in the inning. They took advantage of 5 wild pitches. Throw back to first. Diaz back in again. Yeah, Rostein going for that cheap out to end the bottom of the 4th. But Diaz conservative on the bases, stretching out that lead about 1.5 feet, or a step and a half, I should say. The pitch, swing and a miss off the catcher's glove, but no advance. No balls and 1 strike to Chase Redding. Here in the bottom of the 4th inning, the Mustangs doubling up the Cougars 6-3, and they led Niwot 3-2 in the bottom of the 5th inning, and Niwot scored 11 runs to stun Fort Morgan on Saturday, the offering. And that bounces in. 1 ball and 1 strike. So that top of the 5th inning is going to be crucial because the 5th inning was Fort Morgan's undoing 3 days ago. 1 ball and 1 strike. Diaz off of first. The stretch by Rostein. The pitch, curveball is a strike. On the outer half, it's 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes. Redding's got to be swinging now. And he hasn't been able to swing today because of the 2 walks he's been issued. At the belt is Rostein, the right-hander. A time is called just in time. Yeah, Chase is not somebody who is in a hurry when he's at the plate. He'll step out. Not on a pitch clock here in high school. Now he settles in. 1-2. The offering. Fastball is up and away. 2-2 to Chase Redding. Diaz at first. He had a 2-out single. Shaw lays down the sign, setting up on the outer half to pitch. Curveball is outside. Oh, they called strike 3. I don't think he swung. Oh, boy, that looked like it was off the plate. They have rung him up on a pitch that looked like it was off the plate. And the Mustangs are retired in the bottom of the 4th inning. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and a base runner left at first. 4 complete. It's Fort Morgan 6, Niwot 3 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Trey Romero is exactly halfway to the maximum number of pitches allowed, which is 110. He's at 55 as we head to the 5th inning. Top of the order, Fort Morgan leads Niwot 6-3. Sergio Pimentel on base twice. Breaking balls, a strike. Just above the knees, it's 0-1. A board on an error in the 1st inning, then singled. The offering. Swung on and tapped foul along the 3rd base side towards the Mustang dugout. It's 0-2. Yeah, there's no doubt that Trey Romero has been the ace, probably for the last month of the season. And they've got their best pitcher right now ahead 0-2. Swung on and fisted on the ground towards the second baseman late and charges. Gloves, throws to first, and that's going to be late. It's a base hit for Pimentel. That's another infield single for a Niwot Cougar. I thought that Romero could have had that when he barely missed it. Once it got by Romero, that was going to be tough for the Fort Morgan second baseman. That's how that rally gets started. Here is Brock Rothstein. And he's been tough. He's singled twice. He has 2 of Niwot's 7 hits. The stretch and a pitch, swung on, driven about 50 feet foul or more off to the right side on a pitch that was tailing in with a runner going. It's 0-1. They don't do pitch outs anymore at any level. They used to do pitch outs quite a bit, give an advantage to the catcher. I would think Romero's going to throw over there now after Pimentel took off. No balls and 1 strike. Now he's coming home. Swung on and fouled straight back. No balls and 2 strikes to Brock Rothstein. And this is the heart of the order coming up for Niwot. 6-3 Fort Morgan, top of the 5th inning. 1 on, nobody out. Romero at the belt. Romero to the plate. Popped up, third base side, foul territory. Carrera is going to run out of room. Out of play. Tried to get him on that changeup. He might go back to that because Rothstein has been on that curveball. And then drilled that fastball way foul. We'll see what pitch he goes with. The offering, runner going, low and away, throw to seconds, up the second base side, a stolen base. For Rothstein, now it's, or for Pimentel, it's 1-2 to Rothstein. Yeah, got a good jump, and Pimentel's got some major speed. Romero looking for the out, the pitch. Curveball called, strike 3. Oh, that was nasty. On the outside corner, and Rothstein is out number 1. A tremendous pitch there by Trey Romero. That'll send up Hayden Shaw. Romero just picked up his 4th strikeout. Hayden Shaw has popped out and singled to right, or singled to left, I should say. The pitch, runner going, high and away, throw to third, the tag, and late. It's a stolen base. Again, Pimentel can run. And he ran on a perfect pitch, a high and away breaking ball. 1 ball and no strikes. The Mustangs will keep the infield back. They're just looking for outs with a 3-run lead in the top of the 5th inning and 1 down. The offering. Swung on and popped up on the right side. The second baseman, Layden, out on the outfield grass. Settles under it, makes the catch. Runner has to hold, 2 down. Got him again on that changeup. Here's Diego Castro. Castro lined to right and walked. How big would this be if you get out of this without a run being scored? And if you're Baker, you got to block everything. And Romero is really not prone to throw wild pitches. Grounded slowly, left side, charging is Carrera. Sidearms to first, and the inning is over. Niwot retired. An excellent running throw by Jaden Carrera on the first pitch to Diego Castro, and Trey Romero gets out of the jam. In the inning, no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and a man left. 4.5 complete. The Mustangs are 6 outs away from snapping an 11-game losing streak. They lead Niwot 6-3 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Jaden Carrera, Alan Nevarez, and Angel Lopez in the home half of the 5th inning. Fort Morgan leads Niwot 6-3. Second inning of work for Brock Rothstein. And what a job by Romero. Man at second, nobody out. Man at third, 1 out. Got out of the jam with an infield pop-up and a grounder to third. Carrera singled twice. Between him and Diaz, they have half of Fort Morgan's hits. The wind and the pitch. Fastball is down and away. Yeah, nobody wants to fall to the team that's been slumping. And Niwot knows it, and the Fort Morgan Mustangs are out for blood right now, looking for their 5th win of the season. The pitch, that's a fastball for a strike down the middle at the knees. It's 1-1. 4 in the first and 2 in the third for the Mustangs. A run in the first, 2 in the third for Niwot. The wine in the offering. That is on the outside corner for a strike. Had a little bit of tail to it. 1 and 2 to Jaden Carrera. Well, his first base hit was with 2 strikes, so this is familiar territory for him. The pitch. Curveball is grounded slowly. Left side, third baseman Noblin to his left. Sidearms to first, 1 out. That sounded like the end of the bat. Didn't have that ping to it. Nevades has walked and popped to second. 0 for 1. Allen the DH today. Laying down the sign is Hayden Shaw. The pitch. Curveball is popped up into left center field. The outfielders converge a bit. Kilpatrick to his right makes the catch. 2 down. And that's what happens. The center fielder calls off the left fielder Richards. Could be a quick inning for Rostein. Angel Lopez grounded out and singled. 1 for 2. And these Mustangs taking their time getting to the plate because they don't want Romero to get back into that dugout and get right back on the rubber without some rest. Wears down on a pitcher, although it's a day I would call of a perfect temperature. The pitch, fastball is outside, 74 degrees at first pitch today, which was at 3:56. Still at 74. Talk about consistency. And the 1-0. Swung on and grounded slowly up the third base side. Noblin's going to glove it, but there's no way he's going to throw him out. That's going to be late. A base hit for Lopez. That's his second infield hit of the game. That's the way to extend an inning. Mustangs now with 9 hits. Here's Noah Aguirre. A single, a run scored, and a pop out. Well, check that. He had a base hit but did not score. That was in the second inning. Yeah, you look at Noah's build as a sophomore, and it looks like he could really crush the ball. The pitch, fastball is a strike on the extreme outside edge. No balls and 1 strike. And you can't get more outside corner than that. Off of first is Lopez. Rostein at the belt. Rostein to the plate. Curveball is grounded to first. Should be an easy play. It is for Leto, who steps on the bag. And that does it for the Mustangs in the 5th inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. A base runner left the board to the 6th inning. Fort Morgan 6, Niwot 3 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Fort Morgan leads Niwot 6-3, headed to the top of the 6th inning. Julian Leto has singled and struck out looking. 1 of 4 strikeouts recorded by Trey Romero, followed by Henry Noblin and Jet Kilpatrick. Lefty against lefty. Breaking ball is fouled off to the left. No balls and 1 strike. 6 runs on 9 hits for the Mustangs. 3 runs, 7 hits for Niwot. We said one of the keys to the game, avoiding the miscues by Fort Morgan. Only 1, that was in the 1st inning. Breaking ball is in the dirt. That's it. Fort Morgan had 58 errors in 20 games coming in. That's their worst in probably a decade and a half, if not more. The pitch, changeup is up and away. 2 balls and 1 strike. Romero's only at 69 pitches, plenty in his arsenal. The offering. Breaking ball is taken just a little bit low. Man, that thing was a strike all the way through, and then it dove out of the zone in the last second. 3-1. The pitch, way outside. That's a leadoff walk. We know how dangerous those could be. Only the 2nd walk issued by Romero. Henry Noblin has singled and popped to right. 1 for 2. Romero delivers. Fastball is a strike on the outer half, just below belt level. It's 0-1. Leto off of first, a two-step lead. The pitch, swung on and grounded left side. Langford to his right, Fields, long throw to first is going to be in time. Charlie Langford has made two spectacular plays at short. That was a long throw, and he got Henry Noblin. I'm not sure he would have had to play the short way. He decided to get the hitter instead of try to get a force. That's all you got to do. The Mustangs 5 outs away. Jed Kilpatrick grounded back to the mound. Romero's had traffic the entire game except one inning. The pitch, swung on and grounded down the third base side. Carrera's got it. Long throw to first is right there. Runner to third. No throw. 2 down. That's the other thing. We've had games this year where the Mustang infielders have been off target with their throws, but not today, except on the first batter of the game. I believe this is Drew Stapp. So Drew Stapp hitting for the first time in the game, batting .333, a right-handed hitter, with 2 down and a runner at third. Another critical hitter for Romero to retire to keep this at a 3-run advantage for the Mustangs. Romero has made the pitches when he's had to. The sophomore lefty looks in. The pitch, breaking ball is up and away. And with Jagger Kilpatrick on deck, you don't want the tying run to get up there. Not necessarily a home run hitter, but he would be the tying run. Fastball is high. It's 2-0. To Drew Stapp, first plate appearance in the game. For Stapp, the pitch. Swung on, grounded left side. Carrera to his left has got it to a knee. Gets up, throws to first in time. Another spectacular defensive play by a Fort Morgan infielder. And that was made by the third baseman, Jaden Carrera. And the Mustangs get out of it. No runs, no hits, no errors, and a man left at third. 5 1/2 innings are in the books. The Mustangs lead the Niwot Cougars in Fort Morgan 6-3 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Hard-throwing right-hander Jagger Kilpatrick will be the third pitcher for Niwot. 4-1 with a 3.42 earned run average as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Fort Morgan with a 6-3 lead. Trey Romero will be going for the complete game and hopefully with more than a 3-run advantage. And the Mustangs are back to the top of the order. Charlie Langford, who's grounded out, popped out in between that, a bunt single. He's 1 for 3. And I would not put it past him to bunt again. The third baseman, Noblin, is a few steps back of the bag, just looking for an insurance run. Line in the pitch. Fastball is a strike on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike to the Mustang shortstop, who's been stellar defensively today. Kilpatrick gets a sign and the offering, and that one skips to the screen. 1 ball and 1 strike. Fort Morgan scored 4 runs in the first inning. That's all they've needed since Niwot only has 3, but nice to have a 3-run lead, and that pitch is up and in. 2-1 to Langford, followed by Tyler Baker, then Trey Romero. And a game like this is even more important for the seniors that have not seen a win in a month. 2-1. The offering, up and in again. Well, Kilpatrick's throwing hard, but he's not throwing strikes. 3 balls and 1 strike to Charlie Langford. Bottom of the 6th inning, the Mustangs lead 6-3. The pitch, swing and a miss. It would have been ball 4. Foul tipped into the glove on a pitch up and in. It's 3-2. Yeah, that's not what he wanted. But Charlie's right on top of that plate. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch, swung on and popped foul. That one was up in the zone, but he's protecting at all costs. 3 balls and 2 strikes to the junior shortstop. Langford digs back in. The right-hander Jagger Kilpatrick to the plate. Fouled off to the right. You're not going to get Charlie out easily. Nope. He's gonna stay in there. He wants to get on base and score that 7th run. 3-2. Swung on and driven in the air into right center field. That's going to be trouble. That is going to drop for a base hit. Langford around first. He's going to stay right there. But it's a second base hit of the game for Charlie Langford. Well, is Tyler Baker going to be called upon to lay down a bunt? 3 Mustangs have 2 hits today. Jason Diaz, Angel Lopez, Charlie Langford. Make it 4. Jaden Carrera's got 2 hits. That ball nearly hit him. Fastball backed Baker off the plate. He's 0 for 3. Grounded out, struck out, and lined to left. 1 ball and no strikes. The stretch by Kilpatrick. And the offering. Fastball is upstairs. He is clearly overthrowing. 2-0. That's a big arm out there, but he has not kept anything down in the zone. Throw back to first, back in standing is Langford. 2 balls and no strikes. Fort Morgan leads 6-3 with nobody out and 1 on in the bottom of the 6th inning. Looking for their first victory since April 11th at Frederick when they won 8-4. And the 2-0. That one's upstairs. And you know that Romero won't be bunting. I doubt it. Now with his bat, and certainly not Diaz. Those guys are going to be swinging away. 3 balls and no strikes. Kilpatrick gets a sign. I would think it's a straight-up fastball. It is, and that's a strike. On the outer half, 3-1. If I'm Baker, I would take this one. He swung at a 3-1 pitch his previous at bat and lined to left. Here, the 3-1 is swung on and popped up foul territory and out of play. That was a good pitch to swing at, though. That was right down the middle. With a runner going. And the danger with a runner going with nobody out is if you line out, it's an easy double play. But you have nothing to lose. You're up in the game 6-3. You're looking to snap a double-digit losing streak. Huge lead. Let's see if Charlie goes. He does. That is taken call strike 3 and a stolen base, no throw, as Baker goes down for the 2nd time in the game. Trey Romero has singled, hit into a fielder's choice, and grounded out. 1 for 3. How big would it be for the sophomore to come through? The right-hander, Kilpatrick, stretches. And the pitch. Check swing foul on the off-speed pitch. It's 0-1. You've got 2 really good hitters coming up. Romero and Diaz. No balls and 1 strike. And the offering. Swung on, line towards center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Let's see if they send the runner. Langford's going to stay right there. He will stay right there at third base. It was hit too hard. As Rostein, now the center fielder, got the ball back in quickly. And Chase Romero is now the courtesy runner at first. Diaz has doubled, grounded out, and singled. The Mustangs have just 1 RBI in the game. It came from Diaz. Perfect hitter to have up there in this situation. Stretch. And the offering. Swung on and grounded a short. It could be two. Flipped to second for one. Back to first. That's a 6-4-3 double play. And the Mustangs do not score in the bottom half of the sixth inning. We head to the seventh. It's Fort Morgan 6, Niwot 3 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. The Mustangs are 3 outs away from snapping an 11-game losing streak. Trey Romero will face Jagger Kilpatrick, Sergio Pimentel, and Brock Rostein in the top of the seventh. Fort Morgan leads 6-3. Kilpatrick is grounded to short. He hit that liner on one hop to short that Charlie Langford made an incredible play on. And then he popped to right, the pitch. And that bounces in on the curveball. 1 ball and no strikes. Trey Romero, with the exception of 1 inning, has pitched with traffic, but is only 78 pitches deep, so he could easily go the distance. The sophomore lefty looks in. The pitch, that's a strike with a tailing fastball on the outside corner. It's 1-1. Hopefully in just a few minutes we'll have the Advanced Agri Solutions post-game show. Swung on, lined and caught by Romero. It was a soft liner, and he stabbed it right out of the air. 1 down. Sergio Pimentel has been on base 3 times, aboard on an error, and then 2 infield singles. That's what's frustrating about getting this guy out. The pitch, fastball's a strike on the inner half at the knees. No balls and 1 strike. Hope to get some video on our KSIR B106 YouTube channel. Breaking ball, strike 2 on the outside corner. Oh man, that is surgical pitching. The offering, fastball is up and in. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Pimentel. Kicking the pitch. Check swing foul. He had that same check swing for 2 infield singles, but this time it was foul. Remains at 1-2. To the right-handed hitting Sergio Pimentel, who is the pitcher of record for Niwot. The pitch, swung on, tapped slowly. Left side, Romero, bare hands, and he cannot make a play. That's a base hit. Yep, never had it in his hand, but that's going to be the 3rd infield hit for Pimentel. Even if he comes up with that cleanly, it's going to be a very difficult play. Rostein has singled twice and struck out looking. 2 for 3 in the game. Man, that Pimentel's been very lucky, and he can run. He can really run. At this point, just get the hitter. Breaking ball's a strike. No balls and 1 strike. Yeah, just concentrate on the hitter right now with a 6-3 lead with 1 out, 1 on in the 7th. Romero looks over at first in the pitch. Fastball is outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. The runner at first means nothing with his 3-run advantage. Awaiting the pitch is Rostein. Here it is. Swung on, lifted foul, and out of play off to the left. 1-2. Fort Morgan 4-16 going in, 1-14 in league play. Trying to split the season series with Niwot after losing 13-3 on Saturday. The pitch, and that's up and in. Took something off it. It's 2-2. Rostein nearly budged, thinking it was a breaking ball that was going to drop a little bit more. Tying run is on deck. The pitch, up and away with a fastball. It's 3 balls and 2 strikes. Now you got to come in with one of your Trey Romero, 90 pitches deep. Hayden Shaw is on deck. Big pitch on a 3-2. Here it is. Swung on, grounded to first, on off of Jason Diaz as the ball squirts into foul territory. He'll pick it up, runner to third. That's the 2nd error committed by Fort Morgan. Oh, man. It was a 2-hopper, and he did not field it cleanly. first and third for Hayden Shaw, who has popped out twice and singled. Here comes Coach Langford. And he had the first base bag right there to his left, but unable to make the play. And the tying run is at the plate, and there'll be a conference on the mound. The defense had been immaculate to this point. Can't hesitate on those hard ground balls. And, I mean, Diaz stuck the glove out there, but didn't field it cleanly. Mustangs are 2 outs away from snapping this double-digit losing streak, but it's not going to be easy, especially with these hitters coming up. Shaw and Diego Castro. 6-3 Fort Morgan. 1 out, 2 on in the top of the 7th inning. Baker lays down the sign, the stretch, and the offering. And that bounces in and bounces up the third base side. Runner advances to second. No advance from third. It's 1-0, but it doesn't matter. The tying runs are not on the base paths or the tying run. And now Romero can operate from the windup. 1 ball and no strikes. The pitch, swung on, lined, and right through the glove of Carrera at third, and then the ball gets loose in left field by Lopez. That allows the hitter to go to second. 2 runs will score, and it's 6-5. We'll call that a base hit, but I thought Carrera was going to make that catch on that scorching line drive. It scored a single and an error on the left fielder, Lopez, the second error of the inning. And after Romero caught that line drive to record the first out, Mustangs starting to tighten up, not in a good way. Castro's 0 for 2. Curveball is grounded down the third base side, off the glove of Carrera, picks it up, long throw to first, and is it dug out? No. The ball is on the ground. Another error. That'll be on Carrera on the low throw. But holding up at second is Hayden Shaw. He had dropped it, picked it up, and nearly made the play. 3 errors in the inning. Here's Julian Leto. Singled, struck out, and walked. Man, Romero's going to pitch into some bad luck here. The pitch, breaking ball's a strike. No? Where did that miss? Where did that miss? That's been a strike all game long. It's 1-0. Well, you got to get that call. And the offering. That's got to be a strike with a fastball on the outside corner at the knees. It's 1-1. Oh, man, did that hurt. 3 errors in the inning. The pitch, way outside. And now pitch count could be a factor. 97 pitches for Trey Romero. 6-5 Fort Morgan. Niwot with 2 across in the 7th. 2 balls and 1 strike. At second is Hayden Shaw. Diego Castro at first. Mustangs have had several opportunities to make plays defensively. The pitch, fouled off to the left. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Henry Noblin waits to hit next. Niwot trying to rally from a 6-3 deficit. They were also down early 4-1. 2-2 to Leto. At the belt, Romero to the plate. Curveball is grounded weakly right side. Second baseman Layden charges. Then he throws to first, and the ball gets away. It's up against the side of the fence. A run's going to score, and the game is tied at 6. Another error. This one on the second baseman. It was a tough play as he tried to throw from the seat of his pants. We'll call that an infield hit and an error. And the Mustangs have fallen apart in the top of the 7th inning. And runners at second and third. So we will definitely head to the bottom of the 7th inning, but will Fort Morgan be trailing? Henry Noblin is singled, popped out, and grounded out. You've had 5 consecutive hitters reach for Niwot, the majority via the error. And Romero's thrown 99 pitches. Infield is in. Curveball is no, outside, just off the corner, 1-0. 1 ball and no strikes. The pitch, swung on, hit deep to left field, way back as Lopez, still going back, reaches out, and did he make the catch? I believe he did, an incredible catch. The run's going to score from third, Diego Castro, and apparently he left third too early. Castro left third too early. He's going to be doubled up at third on a great play by Lopez. It's a double play. Holy mahungus, which should have easily been a sac fly, results in a double play. And we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. 3 runs on 3 hits, 4 errors, and a man left. 6.5 complete. It's Fort Morgan 6, Niwot 6 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Fort Morgan is fortunate that it's only a 6-6 game. Henry Noblin hit a long fly ball. I thought it was going to go for extra bases. Lopez made a great catch with runners at second and third and 1 out. Diego Castro apparently left too early from third because that should have been an easy sacrifice fly. He was ruled out and doubled up at third. But Fort Morgan was atrocious defensively in the 7th inning. No other way to put it. They had 4 errors. Man, that should be what you commit in a bad game, not in a half inning. Nonetheless, they still have a shot to win it here. Chase Redding leads off the bottom of the 7th against Jagger Kilpatrick. He's walked twice and struck out. The fastball's a strike on the inner half. Redding, Carrera, and Nevarez in the bottom of the 7th inning. Keep in mind that Redding does have a home run this season. Kilpatrick ready. The pitch. Fastball is strike 2, outside corner. No balls and 2 strikes. All the momentum goes to Niwot if they do not allow Fort Morgan to score, especially with Romero virtually out of pitches. Up and in with a fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Not sure who Coach Langford would go to, but he certainly does not want to make that decision. Just score a run here, and you don't have to go to a pitcher. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss and a fastball away. 1 down. Redding is 0 for 2. Jaden Carrera singled twice and grounded out. That's going to be the issue. What do you do about pitching in the top of the 8th inning? The pitch right there for a strike with a fastball in the inside corner. It's 0-1. You don't win this game, then you're facing a Thompson Valley team that, like Niwot, has had a very productive season. Outside. Niwot split with Thompson Valley, losing 10-1 and winning 20-10. Wow. Thompson Valley 8-7, but they're 9-12 overall, so the Mustangs have a shot against them, but you want to get the victory here. Foul to the backstop. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jaden Carrera. Yeah, there were errors virtually all across the infield. Just crazy. 1-2. The pitch. Fastball is high. Yeah, he is certainly making a dent into that catcher's glove. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jaden Carrera. 1 out, bases empty, bottom 7, 6-6 the pitch. Outside. 3-2. Got to get on base, and even though Kilpatrick has a quick move to the plate, at least you have speed on the base pass. 3-2 to Carrera. The pitch. Swung on, line foul, fisted foul off to the right. Remains at 3-2. Yeah, we haven't had a game this exciting down to the wire since they defeated Brush 6-5. The pitch. Call strike 3. That's right down the middle. Carrera took it. 2 down. That is strikeout number 5 for Niwot, pitching 3 of those by this right-hander. Nevades has walked and popped out twice. Here's the pitch. Strike 1. Right down the heart of the plate. It's 0-1 to Alan Nevades. The offering. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Kilpatrick is in control in the 7th. No balls and 2 strikes. The offering up and away with a heater. 1-2 to Alan Nevades. Jagger Kilpatrick to the plate. Swung on in line down the right field line. It is fair inside the line. Headed for the corner. Nevades around first. He's into second with a 2-out, 2-strike double. Now the Mustangs bring up Angel Lopez with a chance to win the game. Looks like Chase Romero will be the courtesy runner. Drill it into the outfield. Lopez has got 2 base hits in the game. And end this thing. What a nice job of Nevades going the other way. A base hit, you know that he's going to try and score. The center fielder Rothstein is playing fairly shallow. Angel Lopez just has to squirt one into the outfield. Against this right-hander Kilpatrick, the stretch. And the offering. Fastball down the middle for a strike. It's 0-1. Don't want to get into a big hole now. No balls and 1 strike on the Mustang left fielder who just made an incredible defensive play. Let's carry over to the offensive side. The pitch, and that bounces, but not far enough away to advance Romero. 1 ball and 1 strike. This has a playoff feel to it, considering the Mustangs are not headed there, but what a win would do, especially for the seniors, would be huge. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 on, 2 down. 6-6 in the bottom of the 7th. Step off, throw to second, and Romero is going to be safe. He barely got in. He's got to be careful over there. I don't know what he's doing. What was he doing out? He nearly got picked off and should have been picked off. You got to be smarter than that, and he knows that. He just got away with one, the stretch. And the pitch. Swing and a miss on a tailing fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. To Angel Lopez. Chase Romero with a substantial lead at second. Stretch by Kilpatrick. And the offering. Swing, and the ball is off the glove. He swung and missed it. They're going to have to throw him out. Throw to first is going to be, is that in time? Boy, they barely got him. Oh, that was barely in time at first base. Oh, I'd have to check that out. Oh, man, if they got him on that strike him out, that was really, really close. The Mustangs get a base hit. We head to the 8th inning. Fort Morgan 6, Niwot 6 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Well, I checked on the replay. Angel Lopez was out by a smidgen on the strike him out when the catcher dropped the ball. Trey Romero's 101 pitches in. He's going to start the top of the 8th inning. The pitch. Breaking ball is fouled at the plate to Jed Kilpatrick, who has grounded out twice. So he will not finish the inning. I mean, the odds of getting 3 outs in 9-10 pitches is very slim. The offering. Curveball is upstairs. 1 ball and 1 strike. But if he can get the first 2 outs on 8 pitches, he can pitch to the 3rd hitter. And the pitch. Fastball is a strike on the inside corner. It's 1-2. 6-6, top of the 8th inning. The Mustangs were 2 outs away with nobody on in a 3-run lead and committed 4 errors. Swung on and fisted towards second on 1 hop. Layden's got it. Tosses to first. 1 out. Well, for once, a ball that was fisted or hit off the end of the bat actually had some carry to it. And the play was made. 105 pitches in. Here is Arlo Richards, who is 0 for 2. Got to get him on 4 pitches. If not, Romero's going to have to be replaced. Curveball is upstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. You're at 106. You've got 3 pitches to get him out. If not, you go to the bullpen. The offering. Swung on and grounded up the middle. Second baseman Layden to his right has got it. Throws to first. 2 down. Okay. There we go. Romero with the off-speed stuff. Now we'll face Jagger Kilpatrick. You can go as long as you want with this hitter. Grounded out and popped out twice. Well, you're at 107. I've got 107. Well, they got 108 down there. It's definitely not 110. Coach Langford says 108. I've got 107. And, of course, I could be off, no doubt. So he's going to stay out there. Now, my totals are always unofficial. So here we go to Jagger Kilpatrick, 2 down and the bases empty, tied at 6 in the top of the 8th inning. The left-hander Romero to the plate. Breaking ball is popped foul down the right side, out of play. Redding racing as fast as he can, but unless he jumps over that huge fence, still out of play. No balls and 1 strike. Romero would go the distance if Fort Morgan wins in the bottom of the 8th inning. And he finishes this inning, obviously. He's got to retire this hitter, though. The 0-1. Curveball is outside. 1 ball and 1 strike on pitch number 109. Romero ready to the plate. That's right there for a strike with a fastball at the knees, 1-2. Trey Romero looking for his second 1-2-3 inning of the game. The left-hander to the plate. Foul to the backstop. Well, you will see Charlie Langford as the second hitter coming up in the bottom of the 8th inning. The pitch swung on and lifted towards shallow left field. The shortstop Langford will make the catch. It never got out there. Still on the clay. It was fisted out there. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Trey Romero. Let's head to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Mustangs need 1 to snap the 11-game losing streak. It's Fort Morgan 6, Niwot 6 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. We begin the bottom of the 8th inning, tied at 6, Fort Morgan and Niwot. The pitch to Noah Aguirre, swing and a miss. Jagger Kilpatrick, the right-hander, blazed a fastball right by him. It's 0-1. A base hit in the first inning, the second inning. Fly out and a ground out. Aguirre 1 for 3. Fastball on the outer half. It's 0-2. Kilpatrick struck out the side, not in order, but struck out the side in the 7th. And the 0-2 pitch, foul to the backstop. A game that is 2 hours and 15 minutes old. First extra inning game of the season for the Mustangs. No balls and 2 strikes. The right-hander Kilpatrick delivers. Upstairs. Took something off it. It's 1-2. To Kilpatrick. Or from Kilpatrick to Aguirre. The right-hander to the plate. Up and in. 2 balls and 2 strikes. To Noah Aguirre. He digs in from the right side. The pitch, swing and a miss. That's 4 strikeouts in the last inning plus, 5 overall for Jagger Kilpatrick. 1 down. Charlie Langford has grounded out a bunt single. He popped to right center and singled to right center. He could end this game with 1 swing. 2 for 4. The pitch. Swung on in line towards right field. It's going to hang, and it's going to be caught. in right field by Jack Schrock, 2 down. Tyler Baker is grounded out, struck out, lined to left, and struck out again. He is 0 for 4. Digs in, and the pitch. Breaking ball is outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Kilpatrick has been really effective. I mean, he is starting to mow down the Mustangs. Nevada's did have that 2-out double in the 7th. The pitch. That's a strike down the middle. Belti with a fastball, and the count levels at 1 ball and 1 strike to Tyler Baker. 2 outs and the bases empty in the bottom of the 8th inning. The pitch swung on and chopped along the first base line. It is fielded by Leto, steps on a bag, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Kilpatrick. Baker's 0 for 5. Let's head to the 9th inning at Legion Field. Fort Morgan 6, Niwot 6 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. I'm John Beltran, back from Legion Field. We head to the 9th inning. Fort Morgan and Niwot tied at 6, and the Mustangs got to be kicking themselves. A 6-3 lead with 1 out and the bases empty in the top of the 7th inning. And then it just fell apart. A base hit, an error, 3 more errors. Had that 2-run single by Leto. And the inning ended with a double play, which should have been a sac fly, but Diego Castro took off from third too early. And now you have the top of the order against right-hander Jaden Carrera, Sergio Pimentel. Wind and pitch, bounces to the screen. Trey Romero's at first now. Jesus Franco's at second. Joseph Layden goes from second to third. Carrera's been pretty good this season. Had some rough outings, but he's a freshman. That pitch is outside, 2-0. Jaden Carrera 0-3 with a 6.56 ERA, but really has thrown 2 very good games against Mountain View and Frederick. The offering, not even close. Baker had to backhand that. It's 3-0. Not a good sign for the Mustangs, especially with this part of the order coming up. 3-0 to Pimentel. The pitch. That's a strike. On the inner half, it's 3-1. 6 runs on 12 hits for Niwot. For Fort Morgan, 6 and 10 for Niwot. The pitch swung on and lifted towards center field. And a routine play for Aguirre, who makes the catch. Barely had to move, 1 down. Nice job of coming back by Jaden Carrera. Here's Brock Rostein. Single twice, struck out and reached on an error. That's excellent pitching by Carrera. He trusted his stuff and challenged the hitter. What a game. Well, I didn't complete the line score there. Niwot has not committed an error. The Mustangs have 5, and that pitch is a strike on the outside corner. Fort Morgan has stranded 8 on the base pass. Niwot only 6. Rostein again at 2 for 4. The pitch, breaking ball, is down and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Let's see, you can close the book on Romero. And the pitch, swung on and driven foul down the right side. Redding giving chase into foul territory, still going, and it's out of play. Romero allowed only 2 runs that were earned. 6 runs overall, but 2 earned. 4 strikeouts, 10 hits allowed, 2 walks. Just 1 wild pitch. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Brock Rostein. The lights don't have to be turned on, but the sun has disappeared. Still only 20 minutes after 6. The pitch. Outside with a fastball. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Keeping banking simple. Bank of Colorado at bankofcolorado.com. Outside again. It's another 3-ball count to an opposing hitter. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Rothstein. Carrera's got to come in with one. Here it is. Swung on and fouled off the end of the bat. Went with a changeup. Remains at 3-2. That was a good pitch that Jaden threw. Keep it going. I mean, if you walk him, you walk him. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The offering, way outside. Went with a fastball, completely overthrew it. Nice job of Baker just catching the ball, because if not, that goes to the screen. It could have been a man at second. Hayden Shaw has popped out, singled, popped out, and singled. 2 for 4. Infield will convene along with the catcher Baker. Romero threw 112 pitches unofficially. 1 on, 1 out in the top of the 9th inning. The Mustangs were down briefly 1-0 after half an inning. That's the only time they've trailed in the game. They've either led or been tied the remainder of the contest. Carrera throws back to first. Back in diving is Rothstein. Yeah, Niwot knew they would have a battle today. They were down 3-2 in the bottom of the 5th inning before exploding for 11 runs in the 13-3 win on Saturday. The pitch bounces in and bounces away. That'll place a runner in scoring position. A wild pitch as Rothstein advances. And Carrera's not a strikeout pitcher. He's going to have to get them to hit the ball and hopefully generate outs. 1 ball and no strikes. Shaw awaits the pitch. Long pause and he steps off. Pitchers of record now are Jaden Carrera, Fort Morgan, and Jagger Kilpatrick of Niwot. 1 on, 1 out. At the belt. Long pause to the plate. Down and away with a breaking ball. It's 2-0. There is a base open. 2 balls and no strikes to Hayden Shaw. We are still playing baseball after nearly 2.5 hours. At the belt. To the plate. Upstairs, 3-0. Again, nobody hurt with a base open. Nobody hurt. You don't have to get this guy out, but you got to get the next 2. 3 balls, no strikes. The stretch by Jaden Carrera. Let's see if Shaw might be swinging. Nope, he's going to take it for a strike at the knees. Well, he came back from a 3-0 count to the first hitter. Pimentel got him on a fly ball to center. This is the 3rd consecutive hitter that Carrera's gone 3 balls to. 3-1. Rothstein off of second. Baker lays down the sign. The pause. Step off. Yeah, don't get rattled by the man at second. Don't get rattled at all. His run is the go-ahead run, but the hitter right now is a little bit more important. 3 balls and 1 strike. The pitch. Swing and a miss on a pitch at the letters. Looked like he threw a heater by him. It's 3-2. Can Carrera come all the way back against Shaw? 3 balls and 2 strikes. What a game. Again, Rothstein with a big lead at second. The stretch, Carrera delivers. Swung on line foul off to the right. One with a fastball in the inner half. Remains at 3-2. Well, this will be the longest game innings-wise this year for sure. Will the Mustangs be able to rally and win? Well, they don't have to rally yet, but if Niwot scores, they will. Niwot has rallied to tie the game with 3 runs in the top of the 7th. We are in the 9th, 3-2. Another 3-2 pitches coming up to Hayden Shaw. Here it is in the dirt. It's a walk. That's fine. You had a base open. And Carrera knew that. Now, though, you can't mess around with Castro. Here comes Josh Langford to pay a visit to his pitcher. Now, what do you set up strategically if you're Fort Morgan right now? For over 100 years, Premier Farm Credit has been providing affordable, reliable, and consistent credit. Visit premieraca.com. And Western Engineering Consultants since 2003. They've been providing big firm product with small firm relationships. Visit westerneci.com for more. The conversation is concluded. First and second, 1 out. Top of the 9th inning, Castro lined out, walked, grounded to short, aboard on an error, one of the 4 errors committed by Fort Morgan in the 7th inning. Carrera delivers, swung on and grounded left side. Langford to his right has got it, throws the short way, and the ball is going to skip all the way into right field. That will score a run, and the ball is going to be retrieved out there. Runners at second and third. It's a fielder's choice and an error on the throw. I'm not sure if Franco should have had that. It would have been late anyway. And Niwot leads 7-6, the 6th error of the game by the Mustangs. I think the bases would have been loaded anyway. I think that throw would have been late. Charlie had no other play. But again, it is scored an error, allowing that run to score. And second and third for Julian Leto's 2 for 3. You might as well walk this guy. Yep, they're going to walk him. So the bases are loaded. On the intentional walk to Leto, who was 2 for 3. Henry Noblin is 1 for 4. They can break it open right here. 7-6 Niwot. Bases loaded, 1 out. The pitch in the dirt, blocked by Baker on that curveball. It's 1-0. The Mustangs will have Trey Romero leading off the bottom of the 9th inning. They're down by a run. Noblin looking to make it more. He hit that long fly ball in his previous at-bat. Swung on, driven into the right center field gap. That might clear the bases all the way to the fence. Shaw scores. Castro scores. Leto's around third. He will score. It's a 3-run double for Henry Noblin. 10-6 Niwot. And Jed Kilpatrick will now hit. He's 0 for 3. And the Mustangs have only scored 2 runs since the first inning when they tallied for the pitch. That's outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Again, this is a game of defense, and Fort Morgan with 6 errors today. And Niwot has not committed a single error. The pitch swung on, popped up, foul territory, right side, long run for the first baseman. Romero has room and makes the grab. Long throw towards third. Nice job backing up in left field by Lopez on 1 hop to Layden at third, 2 down. Fort Morgan's going to have to put together a tremendous rally. Arlo Richards is 0 for 3. Struck out and grounded out twice. 0 for 3 once again. The big 3-run double by Henry Noblin after the error that gave them a 7-6 lead. Now 10-6 the pitch. And that is a little bit up and in. 1 ball and no strikes. Now Fort Morgan is just 3 outs away from losing their 12th in a row. And the offering. Down the middle but low. It's 2-0. Fort Morgan is still out hitting Niwot 12-11. Carrera, 2-0 pitch. Curveball's a strike. I mean, this is very encouraging when you have two good pitchers like this in Romero and Carrera, a sophomore and freshman respectively. They're just going to get better. Jaden looks back to pitch. Foul to the backstop. He got the first hitter, but then the walks will certainly hurt. And, of course, the error. And that ball that Charlie fielded was hit in the hole. So I don't really think he had a play at second. But once that ball got by Franco on the throw, that gave Niwot the lead. The pitch swung on and lifted into left center field. Long run to his left by Lopez, and he makes the catch in the gap. Side retired in the top of the 9th inning. Not before Niwot takes the lead. 4 runs on only 1 hit. A Mustang error and 1 left. To the bottom of the 9th inning. Niwot 10, Fort Morgan 6 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. 10-6 Niwot. Jagger Kilpatrick has been throwing nothing but smoke as we move to the bottom of the 9th inning. This guy's been tough to hit. This will be his 4th inning of work. 46 pitches, 5 strikeouts. He has allowed 3 hits. But here's the key, he has not walked a batter. The pitch swung on and grounded left side to his left. Noblin, nice play, sets, throws to first for the out. Retiring Trey Romero, who's now 2 for 5. Here's Jason Diaz, who doubled in a run. Incredibly enough, the only RBI by the Mustangs today. The other 5 runs scored on wild pitches. He grounded out, singled, and then grounded out again. 2 for 4, for Jason Diaz. The right-hander Kilpatrick in firm control with a 4-run lead. The pitch down and away with a bender. 1 ball and no strikes. We'll keep it right here for the Advanced Agri Solutions post-game show once we get there. Hopefully not for a while. The pitch, fastball is upstairs, 2-0. To Jason Diaz. Niwot began their rally with 1 out and nobody on. Mustangs trying to do the same. Open stands for Diaz. The pitch down the middle for a strike with a fastball. It's 2-1. Yeah, no reason to throw any other pitch. Not at this point, now with this cushion. And the pitch fouled at the plate. Tied him up with smoke. It's 2-2. Mustangs, if they don't rally here, will have 2 more opportunities to generate their 5th win of the season. Weather permitting, Thursday in Loveland against Thompson Valley. Saturday morning, Brian Nickel will be with you against Thompson Valley as well. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss on a nasty curveball. A strikeout of Jason Diaz, the 6th for Kilpatrick, 2 down. Chase Redding has walked twice and struck out twice. Yeah, this one's going to hurt. Your starting pitcher was really good. Really good. 1 down, the base is empty with a 6-3 lead, and Fort Morgan could not pick up the final 2 outs as Niwot scored 3 runs. Swung on and lifted and caught by the shortstop on that flare by Jed Kilpatrick off the bat of Chase Redding. And Niwot wins the game 10-6. The Mustang postgame show in 9 innings. Brought to you by Advanced Agri Solutions. Get a full plan of seed, food, and water for your field. Now is the time to begin your planning for next year's growing season. Call Dusty or Roxy, 970-571-2024. The final line score, 10 runs, 11 hits, no errors, 7 left on base for Niwot. 6 runs, 12 hits, 6 errors, 8 left on base for Fort Morgan. The winning pitcher was Jagger Kilpatrick. And the loss went to Jaden Carrera. Time of the game, 2 hours and 39 minutes. And here's how it went. After Niwot scored a run in the top of the first inning, the Mustangs 2 down, nobody on. A base hit from Romero, a double by Jason Diaz. Tied the game at 1. And then the Mustangs picked up only 1 more hit in the inning. But Diaz, Redding, and Carrera all scored on wild pitches, making it 4-1. Niwot countered with 2 runs in the top of the third. RBI single from Brock Rostein. And then he scored on a pass ball, making it 4-3. The Mustangs then got 2 runs in the bottom of the third inning. Chase Redding scored on a wild pitch, as did Jaden Carrera, who singled earlier in the inning. Still 6-3. Top of the 7th inning, 1 out, nobody on. Trey Romero 2 outs away from going the distance. And then it just fell apart for Fort Morgan there, as you had Sergio Pimentel with a base hit. Brock Rostein reached on an error. That was the first of 4 errors committed by the Mustangs in the 7th inning. Hayden Shaw had a 2-run single. Julian Leto with a single and an error, and the error actually tied the game. And then that double play, which could have been a sac fly hit by Noblin on a great play by Angel Lopez, extended the game to the bottom of the 7th inning. But the Mustangs, the only threat they had was Alan Nevada's 2-out double. And they could not score him or the courtesy runner Chase Romero from second base. And then finally in the top of the 9th inning, with 1 out and nobody on, with Jaden Carrera pitching after Trey Romero went 8 fabulous innings, Brock Rostein was able to walk along with Hayden Shaw. Then Diego Castro hit a ground ball in the hole to Charlie Langford, tried to throw to second. The throw, I'm not sure if it was offline, but the runner would have been safe anyway. The ball, though, sailed into right field, scoring a run. And then Julian Leto, check that, Henry Noblin, then hit a bases-clearing double, and that was it. 10-6, the final score. The Mustangs fall to 1-15 in league play, their 12th consecutive loss, and 4-17 on the season. Niwot 10-6 in league play, and 12-7 overall. Mustangs will try for a victory on Thursday, weather permitting, in Loveland against Thompson Valley at 4 o'clock right here on Morgan County's B106. I'll be with you on Thursday. Brian Nickel will be with you on Saturday. A tough one there for the Mustangs. Quickly looking at the pitching line from Trey Romero, 8 innings, 6 runs, only 2 earned, 4 strikeouts, 10 hits allowed, 2 walks. He was outstanding today. But the Mustangs drop a decision at Niwot, which sweeps the season series. I'm John Beltran. The final score once again from Legion Field in 9 innings. Niwot 10, Fort Morgan 6 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network.